Uncivilized Vitality, and today I have the Uncivilized wife with me, and she's going to help me demonstrate some of the clothing options. So clothing, cloth, and covering is our first tool, and we use a lot of times blankets and towels and morigamis. And today I have on, you can see my Great Plaid or my kilt, right? My traditional kilt. Seems like there's a lot of extra fabric. There's many ways to wear this, and you can check out the other video. I'm sure Rendell will put the link somewhere after I talk about the coffee buying. But this is about 5 yards of material. The female's version is about same width because the size of the looms were set, but it's only about 3 yards of material. And you can do this depending on height, but 3 yards will work good. Carry-in's not super tall, so we'll just adjust this accordingly. So we're going to show you a few ways that the women can wear this to be convenient, and some traditional ways and a way we came up with. She could always wear it like a kilt, traditional skirt style. We could just wrap it around with the pleats. She could throw her belt on and just wear it like a kilt, right? Same way I'm wearing it. No reason not to, it's just a blanket. But traditionally, women would wear their plaid or their blanket, or Earasaid, I'm not sure how to say that, honestly. Irish, not Scottish. They would wear it in a couple of traditional ways. So the one is we're gonna take this on the long edge and we're gonna drape that over the wife's shoulders. All right, so we just put that long blanket on there, so turn this way.
Okay.
All right, so we got this. I throw that over my neck, that belt, so I can get out of the way. All right, so we drape this up, and we're gonna take a little extra so we can put it up almost like Red Riding Hood, so it just hangs up over there. Boop, can't see her. All right, and then we just take this edge in, gather this side up, and Carrie will hold that.
Okay.
And then from the long edge, you just sort of crumple this up, and she can grab that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps to have a dressing maid, I guess, or husband. You could do this on your own. You could tuck that over your shoulder or something, or, I don't know, bite it. And you put your belt on, under that. Okay. Zoop. And you could use any belt you have, just a regular dress belt. Carrie's got a ring belt here we're using, which is just for this sort of thing. Okay, and then you can let go. Okay. All right, and then while she's still got her hood up, we're gonna gather this in front a little bit. And I like to fold it back a little bit like this, and then put these two ends together. And now we have like almost a couple of lapels. Now it helps to have a brooch or a blanket pin. So you don't have to worry about damaging your blankets, because you're just kind of poking between the warp and weft. You just dig that through, right? Maybe we should do a video just on blanket cloak pins. All right, so once that's through and kind of held in place, Carrie can take her hood down. All right, and then she's got a very neat looking, sorry,
that's okay.
Pull that down. All right, a really neat looking, like a rain coat. What do you call these things? That the plaid, like a Scottish slicker. So she got that. Go ahead and turn around so we can see the back. Okay. You get full coverage, right? So her back is covered, the skirt is covered. Yep. Come all the way around. And then she still got, she could pull that up, pop the hood back up if it starts to rain. And then you can just flip these open and she's got room to do whatever she's doing.
Yep, it's very warm.
Yep, very warm. Yep. Okay, that'll be an issue we'll talk about in a minute, because it is 16-ounce wool. It is pretty warm. So let's take that back off. Go ahead and undo your belt if you can find it.
Sure, I got it.
All right, so that was draping it across her shoulders with the long edge across her shoulders. Okay. Let me hold on to that for you. Now you could also do something with the short edge. So now we're going to do it lengthwise. It helps to gather a bunch of it up and just put that over your shoulder. So Carrie will hold that in the front. This one you could do yourself as long as you know, keep track of your layers. Now that with the short edge down, we're just going to fold that over across in the front, whatever length she wants it at. And then same thing, we're going to belt this into place first. My belt's a little easier with the metal buckle, but here's more practical. So now she's got her skirt, she got coverage all the way around. Go ahead and turn around, let me grab all this bundle.
Okay.
All right, now the problem here is, you notice, look how much extra trail she's got. So you turn sideways so you can see.
Okay.
Look how much extra trail. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take about a foot of this and fold it, flip it in. Right? So I've doubled that, I've just flipped that up. Now I can bring this doubled edge up, and that'll sit on the wife's head. Whoop, sorry dear, like a hood.
I'll help you.
Right? And then, now she's got this, we've got a shorter apron in the front. We just fold those lapels back. This helps bring it in around the neck. Turn this way a little. All right, once again, grab that. Being careful not to
Stab the wife.
stab the wife.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then put the brooch across behind the pin. You can use a large blanket pin, a safety pin, or you can get a brooch. A local festival, or just make your own, use a safety pin. There's lots of ways to do those. So now you see you've got basically the same thing. She's got the ability to pull it up in a hood if she wanted to.
Yeah.
But what were you saying earlier about this version with the short edge?
It's more practical. I can move my arms. I'm less restricted. And it is actually more comfortable for me.
Yeah, and it's got a little more space, right?
And it's a little airier.
And if she had her poncho, she could take that and just tuck it in. Want to turn around? And then you just got a little pocket space back here. You can carry a few things back there. Wouldn't be too much weight. I wouldn't load a bunch of things in there, right? But you could throw like a poncho or your water bottle back there, and you wouldn't lose it at all.
Yep.
So this is the traditional way, as far as any research I've done goes, with either the long edge or the short edge. Now we'll show you another, I don't know if it's traditional or more of a modern from TV, but we've been calling it the fancy way to wear this. So, because one of the problems, you notice she's covered from shoulder to knee in wool, and during the warmer months, that might be somewhat problematic. So let's do the fold. So we will show you a slightly less cumbersome way or full way to wear it. So you just fold this in half on the long edge. All right, and then I'm just gonna grab the folded edge here in the middle. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna throw this over Carrie-Ann's shoulder, and you could fold that twice even if you wanted to, but we're just gonna show you this way first. So it hangs down in the back, and you got the apron covering in the front. Hold that at your hip with this one so that the hand can drop down. That's out of the way.
Okay.
And this time when I pass the belt around, I come behind all that cloth in the back. We just go across Carrie-Ann's waist and just catch the front apron. Okay. And just catch the front apron, tuck that belt underneath. All right, so now you've got this just smoothed out. It's covering in the front, all the way down the front. And this back part we'll bring around across the shoulders and all the way across the front like this. But what we're gonna do is, let's turn this way a little bit, is take that bottom part about level with her shoulder and just sort of fold this, give it a little twist, then throw that over the shoulder, okay? Now that little twist gives it sort of a fancy presentation in the front, I guess. All right, and it just drapes over her shoulder. Go ahead and turn all the way around so they can see. All right, so it leaves her arm exposed. You could even fold this one up over the shoulder further if you wanted to keep it in place. I could use the brooch to pin that at the shoulder. And this way she's covered in the front. She's got the apron in the front, lots of wool, and across the back and shoulder. So this one's warm, but it does provide some ventilation in the back, no coverage, right? In case it's a little too warm out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's very comfortable as well.
Real comfortable, keeps it out of the way.
Yep.
Another thing you could do besides the brooch is, let's turn this way, is you could take this and tuck that, reach up and tuck that down in the collar a little bit maybe, right? Just to kind of hold it in the back here, right? That way it stays a little better. Or if you're hiking and she's wearing her backpack, the straps will kind of hold that in place. We could have shown that. There's plenty of space there to get your arms in.
Yeah.
Just roll it up onto your shoulders. All right, so that's the fancy version. and the traditional long edge and short edge. And then we've come up with one other way that might be a little more practical, Carrie Ann thought, for more active movement, right? Like on the trail or around camp, is we're going to take that long edge and we're going to fold it one more time in half. Okay. All right, so we're going to fold it one more time in half. And now essentially what you've got is a really long scarf, right? And this time we'll take that on the folded edge, approximately in the middle. Just drape that over the shoulders for now. Cross this in the front at the waist like a loose X. Let's pull a little of this on up. There we go. Just hold that for me for a second.
Yep.
And she could adjust her belt later off to the side. All right, then we're going to pull this up a little bit so you got some more room up here. So it's kind of like a shoulder shawl, and then Carrie Ann's got plenty of room, plenty of movement space for arms and shoulders. You got a little wool across the back, but most of it's out of the way and it's a good space to hold it. Now let's say it's getting really warm out. We came up with this earlier. You can just work your hand up through the side and out. You got one arm, you take that down, gets even hotter, take the other side out, and just sort of let that drop down around your waist. Just sort of fold it down. And now you're wearing a version, kind of like a man's style kilt. Right? And you can turn around and it'll cover in the back a little bit where that fold comes down, and you've got these little pleats sticking out. So this is a pretty handy way to carry it as well.
And surprisingly comfortable.
Yeah, pretty comfortable. So when you're doing this, you'll need a belt or a fast rope to hold it, and a blanket pin, a brooch, or some kind of large safety pin is handy. And another piece of gear that's popular for women's traditional wear is the 2-ring little leather loop skirt rings. So there's 2 rings, and I'll show them a quick version of that.
Okay.
So we could pop this off. All right, let's say we just got this on as a long skirt. Let's go to the wide length again here. All right, so let's say she's got this on as ankle length. We're just gonna cheat a little bit. Yeah, we'll go around. Okay. You can hold that for me.
Sure.
All right. So now maybe you're wearing it in a longer version. You just got up in the morning. It's a real hurry. You just throw your blanket around your waist. Also, traditionally, women would wear a long tunic and a skirt, an underskirt, underneath the Earasaid. So this is not her main clothing item. So as you notice sometimes when the women's wraps, there's a lot of exposure on things. Whereas the men wear traditionally just the kilt as my main clothing. I'm not going regimental right now. I do have my shorts on, which I suggest on the trail, which we'll show you in a minute. But since the women never go regimental, they could wear it this length, and maybe it's hot out and she's just wearing her tunic. You might want to take the bottom of this up for some reason, right? Because you're going do some work, or you're going across, I don't know, crossing some water. Here, turn so I can get that.
Sure.
Some different ways you might want to lift some of this up. You can bring the tail up and tuck it in your belt, of course, right? And you can use the rings by going through both rings and then back through the first ring. And just by tucking this corner of the cloth through there, this can hold the skirt up out of the way. So a couple different ways you can gather up excess clothing is through the skirt rings, right? Or the dress rings, or you could just pick it up like the men do and just tuck a corner under your belt. Okay. So I think the origin of those skirt rings were women had the keys to the house, and anything they had, the keys were of the household were at her belt all the time. So she'd just hitch the skirt tails through the key ring. That's probably how that started. I don't know. I'm not a dress historian. All right, so there is some different ways to wear the kilt. And One of the reasons we use this is because the kilt as a good piece of kit is because now I'm able to wear as clothing an entire extra blanket. So let me show you that real quick. Okay, so why do we wear the Great Plaid? Isn't this a little inconvenient? Besides just the things you can do, like up over your shoulders, if right, it gets a little cool out in the morning, I can flip the back up over my shoulders and stay a little warm. I can drop it down, I can tie it over my shoulder. Lots of ways you can wear or use your plaid, your great blanket. One of the other things you can do with it is when you get to camp at night, let's say I've also carried a poncho, so I've laid that down. I have another poncho to use over the top, a sleeping pad, and then a sleeping bag or a second blanket. In this case, I have my Swagman roll, which I'll just use as a pillow. I get to camp, I can drop the aprons. This is why I suggest wearing a pair of shorts under it, not going regimental. Not that it would matter on camp. I suppose it'd be awkward for some of the other campers. All right, but my plaid is a lot longer than the wife's plaid, but still essentially just one giant wool blanket. I fold mine in half. So this is our this is the tartan that we use with our Uncivilized local chapter, Black Watch Weathered. And this one is just over 4 yards. It's not quite 5 yards like a couple of my other great kilts. One of them is almost 6 yards, one's 5 yards. This one that's a little over 4 yards, I like this a lot for my island or hiking trips when I have an extra piece of gear. I use it as my clothing during the day. If it gets a little too hot, maybe I'll lose my shorts underneath, enjoy the breeze. But at night, I can lay down and my great kilt, lifting that up to catch a little bit of the back to make a little pocket for my foot. Right. And then I roll this way and let that drape down my back, roll onto it, let this one drape under my shoulder. Oh yeah. Now I'm completely encased. My microphone's probably going crazy. Now I'm completely encased in wool. This is super warm. I've got 2 layers of wool on me. I'm tucked in real nice. I could, if my had in my blanket roll another wool blanket, like a heavy wool, I could drape that over the top. If it gets colder, I can undo my Swagman roll and attach that to my other poncho and lay that over top as a big insulated and waterproof quilt. And it's quite warm. I find this a good enough setup down to about maybe 40 degrees. After that, I'd have to definitely have to add a wool hat and wool socks. But then I've comfortably slept down to, with the Swagman and the poncho and this, down to about freezing. Not everybody sleeps. Sorry, starting to fall asleep. Not everybody sleeps at the same body temperature. So you might want to consider that before you set up. Now, what do you do in the morning? You get up, how do I get that fancy kilt back on? So while I've still got my poncho out, I'll set aside my sleeping pad, right? And I'll open my poncho back up so that it lays out across the kilt, or across the poncho. And I just throw all this in a pile at one end. Right? Set that kilt out so it's flat at one end of my poncho. And then just as a rough measurement, you can kneel from the short edge in to about the top of your foot. And then where your knees are, you'll start picking this up and folding it in pleats. I go out about, probably 6 to 8 inches and pull and get these nice big pleats in there. Now, Carrie Ann's shorter Earasaid would take less time to pleat, obviously, because there's less cloth to fold, but the neater you make the pleats, the easier it hangs in the back. It's not strictly necessary to make them super, sharp as razors, pleats, depending on how self-conscious you are about that. I am not. I just want them all pleated up behind me. So I fold it over, And then since I'm staying on the poncho and I would still be under my sheltering poncho, my kilt stays fairly clean. And then when I get enough of this other side at about the same distance as my shin length on this side, because that'll be my over apron, and lay this down. That's close enough. So now I've got this section of pleats and the 2 flat aprons in the front. I'll grab my belt. I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up on camera, honestly. Then what I'm going to do is I'll get dressed from this end so they can see. Is I'm going to feed the buckle under the pleats. Let me keep going under. At about where my waist is going to lie down. Fix my pleats back up. And then I'm just going to lay down. My feet might be sticking out a little bit. And I lay down so that the bottom edge is at about the bottom of where my shorts are, or just above my knee. And I'm going to pull the right hand apron over first. Okay, measure that up. And then I pull the left hand apron over next. And then make sure these bottom edges are even. And then once that's under, grab my belt. Tighten the belt up at your natural waist. A little higher than where you'd wear your belt in your pants. Okay. And then from there, you're just going to stand up. And you'll see that the kilt falls across the front. And then pull that all up. With these 2 aprons draping down over the top. So I grab the front corner and just bring it around, tuck that in my belt. Then I grab the other corner of the apron, bring that back, tuck that in my belt. And then on my front leading apron, just sort of even that up, make sure it's tucked in the right way. Pull up any excess. Okay. So now my kilt should be ready to go. I don't know how even my pleats are in the back. Not even. Yeah, not bad. All right. Following my belt under the pleats in the back. I get my pack for the day, my sporran or fanny pack. That's why I carry one every day. Set that in the front. Then we're dressed and ready to go, and I can adjust and mess with my kilt as we go through the day. And then it hangs down around the waist for the men almost all the time. You can gather some of that up over one of your shoulders, and with the brooch you can tie and wear in this traditional cross show Braveheart style, or you do like I do, just let it drape down behind me. Right? They have these little pockets I made by folding my apron back. You get these little pockets here. I could even grab my poncho and stuff that down in there. Right? Now I've got my poncho, my fast rope, and my sleeping pad, and maybe my little day pack of food, and we're ready to go. Okay, just like that. So a good reference or a good channel is, hopefully Rendell can put a link, Fandabi Dozi. Fandabi Dozi. Fandabi-Dozi. Fandabi Dozi. He is a Scottish bushcraft and outdoors and historian. He's got a lot of great videos, but his biggest draw is the use of the Great Plaid, the Filemore. He actually speaks Gaelic, or Scottish, I don't know. So he can give you a lot of information, different ways to wear your Great Plaid, but that's just a little bit about what you're going to use it for. It's a blanket at night, and wearing the female version, the Earasaid. So if you have any questions or comments, or if you come up with a different way to wear the Earasaid or the Great Kilt that's conducive to bushcrafting and fieldcraft, let us know in the comments below. And thanks for watching that long video.
Buy me a coffee.
Oh, buy me a coffee. Yeah, good thing the Uncivilized wife is here.